Network.
Yo, 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 Dad is in the house. What do you call the NordVPN Black Friday deal, huh? The Block Friday deal. Because you block online threats. Black Friday, Block Friday. Get it? It's hilarious. Get the NordVPN Black Friday deal and block online threats now. NordVPN is rated as outstanding on PC Mag. Just visit NordVPN.com and discover the benefits of this all-around cybersecurity tool. It will encrypt your online traffic. NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro tool will defend you against web trackers, malicious websites, and malware-ridden downloads. So improve your digital privacy and protection with one simple click. Get the special Black Friday deal at NordVPN.com and enjoy safer internet daily. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrocht and Tommy Kester.
Hey there, everybody. Happy Friday. Glad to be with you here on Sports Daily. Fridays are always a blast with us. We appreciate you being with us, whether you're listening to us on KFH Radio, of course, 97.5 FM, 1240 AM, whether you're listening to us on the Odyssey app or at kfhradio.com, whether you're watching us on 12 News Connected or Facebook or YouTube or X, however it is, we're glad you're here with us. The IHOP hotline will be open for you all first hour long. IHOP introducing, by the way, new Indiana Jones and the Great Circle themed limited time offer menu featuring fully loaded French toast. How about this one? Buried treasure. Get it? Buried treasure. It's got blackberries, raspberries, blueberries, drizzle of rich cream cheese icing. But that number is 869-1240. We've got some college basketball to get you ready for tonight, in fact. And then, of course, we've got college football this weekend, as well as a full NFL schedule. We will have our pals Paul Savage, TJ Cleveland, Brandon Zenner joining in to make some picks at the top of the next hour for the week. Jad will have the receipts. We'll get all caught up on where everybody stands there. Should be a fun show. Tommy, how are you?
Man, happy Friday. I am ready for the weekend. I don't know about you. It's going to be, I think, a pretty nice weekend before the weather turns cold for Thanksgiving. So looking forward to getting out there and enjoying it.
This feels like the last hurrah, doesn't it? Like, isn't there this feeling of, this is it. This is the last stand for good weather. And I think for me, as much as anything, that Thursday night football game last night was like the kind of, and I didn't have to deal with it, but the slap in the face a little bit of this is what's coming for you soon.
Yeah.
Right. Like
that was great. That was so much fun.
Great. I always joke about, I wish they'd all play in a dome. And there's a part of me that wishes they would. That was a cool one last night. That was a good one. Like, if you can give me that, snow globe look and, have that, okay, fine. But when it's the really cold, freezing, drizzly, like, that's gross. That last night was awesome. That is like the picture perfect snow. And that was a really cool, and it obviously had an impact on the game. And we'll start with Thursday night football as we make our way through. We'll be getting you ready again for the college basketball. But let's start there because the Steelers involved, and we watch the Chiefs and wonder how many of these teams are really contenders. Last night, really happy for Jameis Winston. I've become a Jameis Winston fan for sure. Love the way he plays, kind of a redemption of, attitude story. Like, he's entertaining. He seems like he's really gotten on the right track in life. So I root for him. I'm really happy for him. That was fun to watch, even though he made a couple mistakes late that almost killed him. But they beat the Steelers. And so now the Browns sit here and they have wins over the Ravens in recent weeks and a win over the Steelers in recent weeks. So I don't know how much to make of it. I do think, and George Pickens was silly after the game, kind of blaming the weather. But, George Pickens, and everybody has to remember, that's kind of playoff weather, right? So if that gives us a preview of what it's like, then we need to pay attention to those things. So I think we can take something from it. I don't know if that backs me off of the Steelers standing necessarily in the AFC or anything like that. I still think they're a very dangerous team, particularly if they face the Chiefs because of, well, TJ Watt and their pass rush. What did you take away from that game last night, if anything?
I mean, I think that it shows a couple things. I think number one, it shows, like you mentioned with Jameis Winston, that this Cleveland team is his team. At least it should be his team.
So much better with him than Deshaun
Oh,
Watson.
100%. I mean, and I don't exactly know contract wise what things look like after this season for Jameis Winston. I haven't looked that up, but man, I sure hope that the Browns look at him and say, is he an elite quarterback? Probably not. I mean, he's not clearly at this point in his career, but can he be the emotional leader of this team? And can he lead this team to victories and battle through adversity and all of that? Absolutely, he can. I watched his pregame interview on the field, and I just thought to myself, man, I would go to battle for this guy.
Yeah, he's just so happy to be there.
Oh my God. I remember early on in his career when he was with Tampa Bay, it was weird. Like that whole personality was, I mean, he's an eccentric kind of guy, just in general. But early on in his career, I'm like, oh, this guy's bizarre. Like, I'm not sure if I was on the team that I would be able to, I don't know if that would resonate with me. And then watching what he's done now in the second act of his career, I'm like, man, I would fight for this guy. 1,000%.
He's going to have a brilliant career in media. I don't think there's any question about that. And to turn it around, I remember all the goofy, stupid, silly things from college, which we all were stupid and goofy and silly in college. And, now to have the perspective he appears to have on life is really cool. I think a lot of us can relate to that, honestly. He's a relatable dude. They're better with him. I told you going into this year, they would be better with Jameis Winston than they would Deshaun Watson. I believed that then. I certainly believe it now. And I think for them, the question becomes, what do you do in the future? Boy, if Jameis doesn't command a big contract, that would sure be a nice way to soften the landing. I mean, if it's up to me and I'm the Browns, you just have to eat the money. I'm not playing Deshaun Watson.
No.
That team has talent. Deshaun Watson holds you back from the ability to win. Not only is it a terrible contract, not only do you have to make up the loss of draft picks and all the things you dealt with, he doesn't give you a chance to win anyway.
Yeah.
Just sit him down. Who cares? Let him be your very expensive backup quarterback because Jameis Winston's better. And Joe Flacco was better. And it's just like, it's not even close. Deshaun Watson sucks. And I think you're with me on that now. Like, he's not good. And he's not going to be. So just roll with Jameis Winston. And maybe they can bring him back and he's a great story. Obviously, he's good enough to beat the Ravens and good enough to beat the Steelers. And look, he made some mistakes last night. But everybody did. It was a blizzard, literal blizzard in that game for the Steelers. If I'm a Steelers fan today, I'm annoyed that I lost that game for sure. I'm most annoyed that George Pickens likes to fight everybody all the time. One of the really, really talented players in the league needs to pull his head out and just knock it off. And look, I think if you were going to point to a team and a culture and a locker room to get control of that, having Mike Tomlin and to some degree Russell Wilson and TJ Watt and some of these real personality, okay, he's probably going to be fine. He was frustrated. I get it. But don't be an idiot. But I think for me, when I was watching it, I really thought they'd be able to run the ball a little bit better than they did. The conditions were tough. I thought it was awesome to see Russ just fire away through that blizzard on those last drives. This Russell Wilson is fun to watch, right? This let it loose, turn it over the middle of the field. Like it really is a good fit. I still think they're a threat. I still like them more than the Ravens. I don't like them more than the Bills. But I'd put them 3 right now for me in the AFC. And if you haven't looked, and I hadn't until they put the graphic up, we're going to find out because their schedule down the stretch is brutal. Like they finish with a schedule that is just nasty. Listen to this schedule. At Cincinnati, Cleveland again, at Philadelphia, at Baltimore, Kansas City on the Christmas Day game, and Cincinnati. That's their schedule left. So it's like all divisional games in one of the strongest divisions in football, plus Philly, Baltimore, and Kansas City. Good luck. We may look back at that and think about last night as a game they really needed to win. When everything settles. I think they have a good enough cushion now, but I don't think let me put it this way. I don't think they're playing home games in Pittsburgh in the postseason. because that they're not going to make it through that schedule and just win all these games, which is what it would take to surpass Kansas City and or Buffalo.
I think you're right. I mean, it's not that I've been down on Pittsburgh necessarily. I mean, do I think Russell Wilson is great? No, I don't. But they've got other pieces of that team that are really solid. The defense has been really good, and George Pickens, while he's a head case, is talented. All these different things. And Mike Tomlin has always been a really consistent and good coach. So it's not that I've been down about Pittsburgh. It's that I'm higher up on the other teams in the conference, and especially with Pittsburgh's schedule down the stretch and the games that they still have yet to play. I mean, that makes it difficult for me to fully buy into what the Steelers could potentially do. And on top of that, I mean, and it's crazy how PJ Glasser, our betting insider yesterday, hit the nail on the head with Mike Tomlin as a road favorite and how he's been one of the worst coaches in the NFL when he's a road favorite. And that was, and I know weather, blah, 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 all of that stuff, but I mean, they didn't perform. They didn't get the job done. So I do think that is something that's important. Also, you asked me a couple of minutes ago, what other big takeaways I had from the game last night. It's that while Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris are good running backs, and they have been all season long, that game and the conditions favored Nick Chubb all day long. And it showed Nick Chubb being the better of the running backs on both of those teams. And that's the way with the quarterback like Jameis. And I'm not saying that Cleveland they don't have anything to play for this season other than pride moving forward, but that's the recipe for them, is to have Jameis just kind of be a game manager and lean on Nick Chubb and lean on that running game.
Nick Chubb averaged less than 3 yards a carry. He had the 2 touchdowns, and those were impressive runs. They were impressive runs. But I would honestly, because my top takeaway as far as what the Steelers do is that they did not run the ball well enough. But I also at the same time have to realize that Nick Chubb wasn't running the ball at a particularly productive rate either. I think the conditions maybe hurt the running backs because all 3 of them seem to be struggling. And those are 3 pretty talented running backs. So, but if I'm also watching Pittsburgh like that, they're going to need to be able to run the ball in the postseason, because Russell Wilson has been, you said he's not good. He's been really good. He was.
I didn't say that he wasn't good. I
think Russell Wilson good? No.
No, I said, do I think Russell Wilson is a great quarterback? No, I don't think Russell Wilson is a great quarterback. I think he's been good since he stepped in for Justin Fields, and he's fit the offense for Pittsburgh really well. I believe, but I don't think he's an elite quarterback at this point in his career.
Who's elite this year, though? I mean, honestly,
that's a completely
Josh Allen.
I just don't.
Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Like, there's nobody's playing.
Is Russell Wilson, Josh Allen, or Lamar Jackson? No, he's
no.
That's okay. But that's okay. He's doing what the Steelers have needed him to do.
I think he just keeps doing it. Now, what's curious to me about him is he's only had one subpar game, and it was the Baltimore game. That doesn't make a lot of sense because Baltimore has one of the worst pass defenses in football. And if we're being fully honest with this, and Pittsburgh's still a bit of a question, his other starts have come against the Jets, the Giants, and Washington. Okay, so he kind of piled it up on those 3, which great. You need to be able to do that. But even last night, like, his numbers were pretty good in those conditions. I think you hit it right with the fit. The fit to me is perfect. Russell Wilson is only 35 years old. Like, he's not even in this old quarterback group that's playing in the NFL right now, as we see that, the Jets might break up with Aaron Rodgers, and, there's some Joe Flacco's still trying to play. They've also been mixing in Justin Fields. I just think, and I know that I've said this a lot, I do think Pittsburgh has something good cooking. We're going to find out real quick how good they are, because they're going to have to prove it in just an absolute nightmare of a schedule. That'll give us a good idea, right? Whereas some of these really good teams have played a lot of really good opponents, Pittsburgh has not played nearly as many. And so we'll find out, because they're about to. And Cleveland, great story again. They get it done. They beat both Baltimore and Cleveland, I think, in the last 3 weeks, which is amazing. So it was good. It was a highly entertaining game, and for all you snowbirds out there, I'll give you that one. I enjoyed it too. Normally, I like him in better weather conditions, but that one was fun last night. I enjoyed that game. It was fun, and it gives us, a slight look potentially at what postseason football looks like. It's a weird slate of NFL games. We're going to pick some of them coming up in just a little bit. When we return, though, let's talk some college hoops because we've got 2 games tonight. We've got the lines out for both of those games now as of this morning. So we'll take a look at that. Shockers and K-State both in action tonight. We'll do that when we return. We've got some HTO to get to you later in the program as well. Want to tell you that in the fall, Crestview Country Club has you covered with some great festivities. Thanksgiving brunch. That's where I'm taking the family because I've got to work on Thanksgiving. But they've got all kinds of youth activities. If you've got holiday parties for work and you need, take the kids by and they do all kinds of stuff. You can do all of those things at Crestview on a social membership, even without the golf and all the other great sports that Crestview offers. So give them a call. Tell them we sent you from Sports Daily. Tommy and I both really like it out there. We'd invite you to come say hi if you see us out there. And we'll be right back. More Sports Daily. College Hoops Talk next.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch. 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
831001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
All right, you want to win some HTO? You can do it right now. Text the keyword T to the short code 20357, and you can win a free iced tea, a free iced or hot coffee featuring the all-new peppermint mocha. Comes iced or hot. It's very popular right now. While you're getting those free drinks on us, don't forget, order those Thanksgiving gallons. Buy 3, get 1 free right now at HTO. Get you ready for the holiday. You can pre-order them. Set your pickup date. Again, the keyword is TTEA to the short code 20357. Each participant can enter once per day. Message and data rates apply. Tommy, college hoops tonight. And it's kind of a fun schedule, honestly. You don't get the Shockers until 9:30 at the earliest. And it's probably going to be even later than that. You'll get K-State at 7. You can stay up late with Shockers tonight?
It's going to be really hard to do. I had a hard time.
At least it's not a football game.
I know.
Like a 4-hour football game. You're like, oh, God, that's going to start until 9:30.
I had a hard time staying up for the KU football game
too.
Last weekend at BYU. And then when K-State played out there, I had a hard time staying up, for that game. It's kind of interesting looking at this schedule for the games tonight in Kansas City. The early game in KC features Utah State. Utah State is in the Mountain Time Zone. Their fans are used to, it's going to be a little bit. I don't know why their game isn't the late game. Like their fan base is in Mountain Time Zone. Put Utah State in the late game and let Wichita State and St. Louis play the early game. I don't know. It is what it is. I'm going to try. I'm going to do my darndest to stay up and watch that.
So here's what we're trying to. There's a lot to get to with the Shockers. First and foremost, in this game, we're on Robbie Avila watch. You might remember him from Indiana State. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, all the great nicknames. He came over with his coach to St. Louis. He has been hurt. He made the trip. All the updates last night and this morning. He's out there doing non-contact practice. They won't totally rule it out that he plays. This is a very important game for both of these teams. So we will see with Avila. There's nothing official on that. So that makes this line really interesting. And Coach Mills, if you're listening on the lines, you can ignore this part. He had a funny exchange with TJ yesterday in their presser about lines and how Vegas doesn't know anything. So Coach, don't pay no attention to this part. But this line is really interesting, Tommy, because right now the Shockers sit as 3-point favorites in this game. I would have to imagine that is with the assumption that Avila does not play. So take that for what it's worth. If you'd like to, if you think he's not going to play, that looks pretty, attractive. If he plays, I don't know how much time Vegas will react and move that. So we'll see. But that's interesting. Shockers a 3-point favorite. I love the Shockers on that if Avila doesn't play, by the way. So we'll pay attention to that. But here's what's more interesting now that has nothing to do with betting and everything to do with reality. We learned yesterday that Ronnie DeGray will miss 4 to 6 weeks. That's the really, really bad news for the Shockers. The good news is Ballard is expected to play tonight. So now we get into this situation where what do the Shockers do without DeGray? How do they handle this? I think Mate would honestly, to me, he seems like he would be a better fit at the 4 than the 5, but he kind of becomes your only option at the 5 to back him up. So I'll be really curious to see how Coach Mills and his staff draw this up. Do they play them both at the same time? Can you afford to play them both at the same time because of the risk that they both get into foul trouble, right? Because of the need, likely, I would assume, for Ballard to come off the floor in spurts. This will be fascinating to see how they do it. That DeGray loss is a big deal. Do they go 4-1, 4 guards and a big, which would be fine, I think, with Quincy Ballard? I'm not sure I think it would be fine right now defensively with Mate. So they've got some real questions to answer quickly now with their 3 biggest games coming up. And I'm not sure we went into this season thinking how critical Ronnie DeGray would be to this team. But I think as we've watched these games, we've learned he's really critical for the Shockers. And now somebody is going to have to step into that role, and they don't have an obvious fit for it.
Yeah, part of that too. And I was thinking about this the other day. Like, I guess I didn't realize that they were thin in the post. And then I remembered, oh yeah, Zane Meeks has been injured and they haven't had an opportunity to utilize him at all this season. And so as soon as I remembered that, I'm like, oh yeah, like they were supposed to be deeper, than what they've been able to be. I've said it before. Thank goodness the NCAA cleared Mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's massive, moving forward, especially if you've got a Ronnie DeGray injury that he's going to miss multiple weeks. I think for me, strategically, I think you have to go 4-1. I don't think that you can run the risk of playing both of those guys, both Quincy and Mate, on the floor at the same time. I think you have to go 4-1 just because you've got to make sure that you manage those minutes and mitigate foul situations. I think that's the only way that you can actually move forward.
I think you can play them both because I think that's your best lineup. You can't. I don't know. I'm not smart enough.
You can. I mean, I think, it's their best lineup.
What I'm saying is, like, if you make it, 10 minutes into the game and neither of them have a foul, then yeah, play them both for a while.
Yeah.
So that's the part that I don't. Again, that's a level.
That should be the exception, not the rule at this point until Ronnie DeGray gets back. I think
4 to 6 weeks is a long time.
If you get to certain points, like certain benchmarks in the half, and neither one of those guys are in foul trouble, throw them out there for a few minutes at a time. Run it out together. But I don't think that you should plan on that. That's kind of a luxury if it does happen, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And look, this is far beyond the Bolts, the 10-year-old girls basketball team, not even 10-year-olds that I'm trying to that part of it takes a lot of, I would imagine, like number crunching and thoughtfulness and things that the assistants have to constantly be watching. What are those benchmarks? What are the benchmark fouls? How many minutes can those two give you together? Because at some point, at least Quincy Ballard's going to need a breather. Is Mate equipped to play a heavy minute load? I would tell you that early in the year, like in the first handful of games, I would have been very concerned about that. I think it's been a little bit better lately. There's also the piece of, they're going to give you the most productive, I think, offensive lineup and probably the most productive defensive lineup. But how many minutes, if you play them together, can you play them? Because they both at some point are going to have to come off. So then what do? Right? It's hard for me to imagine a lineup without at least one of them out there, right? What would you do if they both had to come off at the same time? That's Corey Washington's tall, right? And he's an option, I guess, to play. I don't know if he can play that spot defensively. On offense, I don't really care, right? It's going to hurt you on offensive rebounding, but on offense, it's not a big deal. But what are you going to run into a situation where you're trying to run a 6'5", 6'6" dude down at the 5 defensively? Because teams are going to take advantage. That's the risk, though, in play. Even though I think it's by far their best lineup to play them together, the risk is, what if they both have to come off at the same time?
But what helps mitigate that is shot making. Shot making from the outside. That's what helps mitigate that a little bit.
Sure.
So
but that's not what this team's going to do.
In an ideal world, you don't have to run one of the, 6'5", 6'6" guys in the post. You don't want that to happen. But if you do, at least you would hope that they can play a little bit faster, get to the rim a little bit, quicker, and make their shots from the outside. That's the way you mitigate that. Is that likely? Probably not. That's a worst case scenario, though, I think.
So Harlan Beverly, we were talking about this in the office yesterday, just kind of guessing at it. It was TJ and I was like, is Bamba ready to go? And he didn't know. I'm like, and then my next question was, okay, so if somebody else had to go down there, right? Like if somebody else had to get down there and get after it, could Joy do it? And then it kind of, I was like, Harlan Beverly, if you asked him to, that's your utility knife. I mean, maybe he could get you by in a pinch, but I'm thinking back to like, well, let's say Avila plays, right? Like who's going to guard him?
Yeah.
Let's look back to the UNI game at, guy I keep calling Country Strong. Just, you know what I mean? That big Iowa Strong, like number 21 white dude that was just kind of pushing people are like, who's going to guard him if you don't have Ballard or Mate on the floor? So this will be fascinating to watch this tonight and see how they try to get through it. And I'll tell you, I was just not going into this year thinking about how critical a piece they were going to have potentially go out in Ronnie DeGray. And now it's 4 to 6 weeks. That is a big deal for this team.
This is going to be interesting tonight for sure, because remember, they didn't have Quincy Ballard in the entire game against Monmouth, and DeGray left the game early with the injury, and Monmouth out rebounded them. And so you're playing a St. Louis team tonight that is not particularly good, at least early in this season, in rebounding. So that can maybe help offset it a little bit. But man, like you've got, this will be, I think, a test to see, okay, Paul Mills, you've had 3 days since the Monmouth game. You don't have Ronnie DeGray, and Quincy Ballard is back. So in theory, you should have at least you should be able to offset what you saw on Tuesday from a defensive rebounding perspective. You should be able to do at least what you did against Monmouth, if not better. I know you lose your top rebounder in Ronnie DeGray, but with Ballard back, he's got to make sure that he can get up there and grab those boards, and that's going to be a major factor.
Yeah, I don't know what happens with rebounding, honestly. Like, that's going to be a guess. I just don't know. I mean, I think that I would temper my expectations against these high quality teams that they should dominate the boards.
But the point that doesn't seem realistic. SLU has not been good rebounding this year, even with, I know Avila went down in the opening game, but they've not been good. They rank down at the bottom in Division I in defensive rebounding percentage. So you're not taking on a team tonight that just absolutely crashes the boards left and right and can dominate you. So even without Ronnie DeGray, I'd like to see them be able to hang. If it can be a fairly evenly matched,
they should. I think they should win the game, especially if Avila doesn't play. I think they should win the game. I like the Shockers.
I'm just talking about rebounding. They need to hang with them.
Yeah.
Even without DeGray, because the Billikens are not a strong defensive rebounding team. They're just not.
I agree with that, because the Shockers have good rebounding guards, right? Justin Hill's been strangely with his side. Well, right. And we know Harlan Beverly can rebound. So I would agree with that. They're going to have to pick up the slack. You'd like to say, yeah, they just need to shoot the ball better from outside. I don't think that's this team's DNA. I mean, it's nice when they can get it, but I don't think it's their strength. So they're going to have to play
flashes of it from Hill. We've seen Corey Washington come on over the last couple.
They can get, but as far as like identity of the team, so take K-State for instance. Mm-hmm. I think K-State's identity is going to be to shoot the three. I think they're going to take a ton of them, and I think that's what they're trying to do. I don't think that's what Coach Mills has his guys trying to do. Now, if they come out like they did early in the second half against UNI, yeah, let it rip. Like if you're feeling it, let it rip. But I don't think that's the way they're going to design it. They have great attackers of the basket at guard. I think that's what they want to do.
I think here's the big question, not just with tonight's game, but when they play in the holiday tournament next week. Before we knew Ronnie DeGray was injured, I mean, you and I talked about what should the expectations be for Wichita State over this 3-game stretch. And, I said 2-1. I think you would like to see Wichita State with the game tonight. Then they play Minnesota, then either Wake Forest or Florida. 2-1, would be great. Is that still realistic in your mind, knowing that they won't have DeGray in these 3 games?
Well, it needs to be because they're not going to have DeGray for 4 to 6 weeks, right? Like so 4 to 6 weeks.
But is it going to be?
Let me just look here real quick. Let's go best case scenario. 4 weeks from yesterday, from right now, basically could put you back 1, 2, 3, 4 by December 20. They start AAC play on January 3rd. So yeah, I think you get him back before American play, ideally. So then I look at it, and if we look at those 3, I mean, depends. Do they play Wake Forest or do they play Florida? I don't know. Yeah, it probably changes it. It probably needs to. I just don't want it to, right? And that's maybe we'll learn that tonight with St. Louis. Maybe all of a sudden we see some great conditioning for the bigs, and they can utilize those 2 together. And it's great, and it's okay. They got to get through. The good news is he should be back before conference play. So let's watch tonight, and maybe I'll have a better answer for you on that Monday, whether I think they should go 2-1 or not in that holiday tournament. Then the other game we're watching tonight, of course, is K-State. This is interesting. K-State is an 8.5-point favorite over George Washington. George Washington has not lost yet this year. They got a pretty decent little KenPom. They haven't played anybody yet. 8.5 seems low. Seems like a reaction to the way K-State's been playing lately. I think if they have a better performance against Mississippi Valley State, this would be a double-digit type game. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know if it's an opportunity, though, because we haven't seen K-State look good in a very long time. Right now, Kansas State in the KenPom, they come in at 73. And George, let me just take a look at this after last night, 144. So George Washington's, I mean, they're kind of getting into that fringy, like bottom half, like, I don't know if they're very good. It feels like a pretty good opportunity for K-State to get right, too. Coleman Hawkins needs to play better. They need to shoot better. We talked to Tim Fitzgerald yesterday, and you can always go back and listen to that on the Odyssey app. They need to come out with their hair on fire, basically, in this tournament.
I'm totally staying away from this game tonight because you're right. Like, it could be a bounce back. It
should be
a bounce back. They got to prove it before I'm going to.
I think I agree.
Look, I mean, Coleman Hawkins has got to get it going. I hope that Doug McDaniel plays in this game. I think it really wasn't talked about a whole lot. That the guy started against LSU and then didn't play a single minute in the game against Mississippi Valley State due to coach's decision. And that's a Jerome Tang thing. I mean, he does that occasionally when he gets on a guy. We talked to Fitzgerald about that yesterday. I hope that he's gotten back in those good graces and he plays in the game. They need him, that they need him to be the best version of themselves. So will they bounce back? Yeah. I mean, I think there's a really good possibility that they do. I'm just staying away from it until they prove it. And I can see it for myself.
Good. I don't know, man. I don't know what to do with it tonight. I just want to see him play better. It's going to be such a bummer if they don't figure this out. Like it'll be a big time bummer. So hopefully they do. Hopefully everything's fine, and they go out and they get off to a good start. I mean, you want to talk about expectations for a tournament? They need to win all of them, right? Like that should be the expectation. Yeah. Don't lose a game in this tournament. And if they do that, I think we'll all feel a lot better, right? If they just handle their business. Just go 4-0, right? Even if they don't get to the point where we think they need to like look really good, which they haven't in a while, at minimum, you better win all the games. The good news, I will say this, like Wichita State's performance over the next couple of weeks is far more important than whatever K-State does. I don't agree with some of the vibes of it. Like, I don't care what K-State does because ultimately they're going to play so many high-level games in the Big 12 that the wins and losses now, I mean, I guess if they lose them all, which they're not going to, it could hurt them, but it doesn't really matter. What really matters for them is where they finish in the Big 12 and how many of those high-quality games they win once those get here. They don't play a lot of high-quality games in the non-con. So I don't think it matters too much. I think it matters for perception. I think it matters that we see them play well. But when we're talking about actual wins and losses to the resume, it's far, far, far more critical for Wichita State and what they can do, because these are games that are by design tournament builders, right? They need these games to build tournament resumes. And again, if you can get St. Louis now, if Avila doesn't play, or even if he does and he's limited because he's coming back off injury, if you can get them now, where they stand now may be very different than where they are late in the year. We like their coach. They got one of the best players in the country. I don't think the committee is going to remember that on November 22nd, Avila was limited or out for that game if you can get that win and they end up being really good. So just keep that in mind, Shocker fans. Real big opportunity for them tonight in Kansas City. They got to do it with one of their key players without Ronnie DeGray, though. All right, that gets you primed for tonight. We've got, KU Duke is the other game coming up soon that we're paying attention to, and that will obviously be just a massively fun and amazing game that we can't wait to see. But that's coming for you. If you're on your way to work, you want to hear the Shockers tonight, you can do it on the Odyssey app. If you don't have an opportunity to sit in your car late at night, you can listen tonight. Pre-game coverage on KEYN begins at 8:30. You can also just search KEYN on the Odyssey app. If you want K-State hoops, they'll be right here on KFH. You can search KFH on the Odyssey app. They'll both be available for you over the air and on the app. We're coming right back. More Sports Daily right after this.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
we investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Welcome back, everybody. It is Sports Daily. It is all Brockton Caster. We're getting ready to make a bunch of football picks. We'll bring in the gang, TJ Cleveland, Brandon Zenner, Paul Savage, all in-house for those picks, or, well, not in-house necessarily, but we'll all be here for the picks. That's coming up in just a little bit, so stay tuned for that. Tommy, Aaron Rodgers in the news, as he always is. The Jets now, there's some reporting that he would be a shocker if he was back with the team next year. You think Aaron Rodgers is going to play football after this year?
No, I don't think he will. I think that he would like to, but he's not going to accept a situation where he may not be the starter. And there might be a team out there where they would maybe want him to come in and try to be a starter and try to recapture some of that magic. But I don't think that that's likely. I think his pride is so big, his ego is so big, he would just rather walk away than accept a lesser role.
Well, look, he's earned that. He's 40 whatever years old. I think that the problem for me imagining if he doesn't play for the Jets, like who's going to – if you're Aaron Rodgers and you're whatever age, however old he is, 40, right. 41, 42, like why would you really come back if it wasn't for a big contract? I think that's the issue. Like at his age, he's already a Hall of Famer, all these things. I just – to come back and not command a lot of money seems unlikely. You know, it's one thing if he wants to play. It's another if he wants to play at his age and everything for not top dollar. And I think that's going to be the problem because based on his performance this year, nobody's going to pay him top dollar. And so we have always wondered this. And look, the Achilles injury is real. And it typically does take guys a couple of years to get back. So maybe a team gets a wild hair and takes the risk because they can. But we always wondered if Aaron Rodgers was going to be the player like he was in the very last year at Green Bay or the one, the back-to-back MVP candidate the 2 years prior to that. And we're getting our answer, at least for this year, coming off that injury. He looks like that, the former, the player that he was right at the end for Green Bay.
And the problem, too, this season has been Achilles injury or not. There's really not a whole lot else to blame other than just him and his play, right? Like
that's an insanely talented team.
It really is. And like I've heard, and I know you said it, and you're not wrong about the defense not playing well. 100%. They haven't played well this season. They've underperformed. They've been disappointing, all of that. But that doesn't have anything to do with the way that Aaron Rodgers is actually playing football. He's not running that offense well. He's not throwing the ball well. He's not completing passes well. And the Jets, to their credit, I guess, have done everything that they possibly can do to try to put a team that he wants around him to help him succeed. They went out and took on a bunch of Devontae Adams contract just to bring Adams in. And they've got a great running game, and they've got all of that. At the end of the day, I mean, Rodgers can look around and point fingers and get Robert Saleh ran out of town and Joe Douglas getting fired and have an interim coach and have every single other thing that he can point his fingers at. But the fact remains, he's not playing quarterback well, and he hasn't for the majority of this season.
This is gonna really piss people off, and this is not my intent. But it is what it is. He's got 2,400 yards. He's got like 20 more yards than Mahomes, more touchdowns and fewer interceptions. I bring this up only to say, yeah, it doesn't feel like he's playing well, but his numbers are better than Mahomes. Isn't that crazy about this season? Isn't that just the wildest thing to wrap your head around? Like Aaron Rodgers, who we all agree is not playing good enough, has better numbers than Patrick Mahomes. What a weird year for Mahomes. And it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. We've talked about that 1,000 times.
Year for the Jets. I mean, considering if you just looked at it, through a vacuum of quarterback play, and you put Aaron Rodgers next to Patrick Mahomes, and you didn't know either team's record, what would you think their team's records would be respectively? It doesn't compute.
I have been so confused by the Jets all year because I can't figure out why it's not working. Like Rodgers could be better. Yes. They have tons of talent on offense. Yes. But it's not like it's been egregiously bad. The defense has really let them down, I think is the bit, but the whole combination of things is so strange and bizarre for them to me. Like I can't put my finger on it. The reality is it's not going to work, obviously. And that's why if you're the Jets, you make the change. But what a head-scratching, weird year. And if you want to know how much locker room and culture and attitude and cohesion and chemistry matter in the NFL, just look at the Chiefs and look at the Jets. Now, the Chiefs have a much better defense, obviously. But that stuff matters when push comes to shove. And when push comes to shove, the Jets are flat dysfunctional. They fired a coach midseason. They have a puppet offensive coordinator. All of these things are there, and look at what happens. I mean, it's wild.
I think that Aaron Rodgers is the kind of personality. I know I'm biased against him. I don't like him, but he's the kind of personality that he will look at all of the dysfunction in New York this season, not really understand or recognize that really it all centers around him. And then ultimately he'll walk away from it and he'll say, look, I'm not going to be a part of this dysfunctional organization. I think he walks away. I think the Jets hire a new head coach, a new general manager, bring in a new quarterback.
And trade for Dak Prescott and the Cowboys draft Shedeur Sanders.
Well, I don't know about that.
Now they freed up the money. They can afford it, and they trade for Dak Prescott, and we can all be happy.
I would hope they're smarter than that.
Aaron Rodgers is at least saying all the right things right now. I'll give him credit for that. He's at least saying, because he doesn't always say all the right things. He's at least saying all the right things right now. What a weird situation. All right, we're going to make some football picks. They are not one of them this weekend. The Jets. Chiefs are. We'll have 3 college games, 3 pro games. We bring in our full gang to make those picks. It's Sports Daily. Our number 2 coming your way right after this.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere. Bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12.
Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW.
12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Something's on the KBGS.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrecht and Tommy Kester.
Hey, sports bettors, ready for some picks destined to fail? It's time to hear what the Sports Daily staff thinks of the weekend games.
And welcome back in, everybody, to hour number 2. We got a full house here. We welcome in Paul Savage, Brandon Zinner, TJ Cleland. If you're watching the video stream, TJ is here, just not on video. So we do have everybody here. We are going to make some picks. And like it or not, Jad's going to go through the receipts. Jad, where do we stand?
Well, we had an interesting week last week. It wasn't one where, Paul, your lead is decreasing a little bit, unfortunately.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah. You went 2-4. We had Jacob and Brandon both going 4-2. So they tie for the week with the best score. And then Tommy, unfortunately, 1-5. You had.
Yeah, I know I had those islands last week, and it can go one way or the other, and it went the bad direction for me, unfortunately.
Yeah, nobody came to save you stranded out there.
Where's Gilligan when you need him?
That's right. That's right. All right. Jad, thank you. We got picks to make. Jad's going to hit the music. We're going to start in college, as we always do. We're going to start with most people's pick for game of the week. This line has moved a lot, and I don't know why. Indiana at Ohio State. When we talked to PJ Glasser, our betting insider, yesterday, this line was at 13.5. It has moved down to 10 this morning. Money is coming for Indiana, right? Ohio State's only a 10-point favorite now. That surprises me. I would have thought most money goes to Ohio State here. Brandon, you and I tied for the lead. We'll let you start us off with Indiana playing their first actual game of football this year against a quality opponent, and they get 10 points on the road.
Yeah, this is, as you just said, down 13.5 to 10. I know Ohio State starting center doesn't look like he's going to be playing this week. They have some other injuries. And who am I to fade what all that's saying? If it was 13.5, I would feel a lot more better about picking Indiana, but just a weird spot. Not too much confidence in it, but give me Indiana just to be able to keep it close. They're 10-0 for a reason. Come out and prove it this weekend.
Not me. Prove it to me. I can't do it. Go Will Howard. It's good for the Big 12 if Indiana gets knocked out, honestly. As much as I like the story of the Hoosiers, I'm rooting for the Big 12. I would like to see Indiana lose, and I do not like Ohio State, but it will be good for the conference if they go down. I think they will, and I'm comfortable with the 10 points. I was comfortable with the 13.5 points, so I'm comfortable with the 10 points. TJ, what do you think? All right, we'll get TJ in just a minute. Paul, where are you at on this one?
Well, I've kind of struggled the last 2 or 3 weeks. I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to doubt myself. And that's horrible. Just when I start thinking I know a little about college football, it turns out I don't know very much. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm change strategies just a little bit. Now, this is an interesting game. To me, this is like the easiest game of the week to pick. 10, 10.5, 13, I don't care. Ohio State is good, guys. Indiana would be champions of the KCAC here against Friends and Tabor. No, what? No, that's what they would be fine playing in the KCAC. Not a problem. But Ohio State is so good with so many weapons. It's a home game. Ohio State by 10 is like a bargain. I'm taking Indiana.
What?
I don't even.
Who did you take?
I took Indiana.
Okay.
Because they could win in the KCAC.
Because I've got to switch things around. I'm not doing things right. Obviously, I've got to sort of go.
So your head's telling you to take Ohio State. So in that, you're going to take Indiana. That's not a bad strategy to just go against whatever it is that you're thinking.
That's
TJ. I think we have you now. Where you at with this one?
Well, if Paul's saying they're winning the KCAC, I think that we said like 9 of the teams are in the NAIA playoff. So I don't know who you're trying to take down here, Paul. The reason this line is down so much to 10 is because just about everybody in the country is rooting for the Hoosiers, unless you're Jacob Albrock or you're on the college football playoff committee. So I'm going to stick with the rest of the country, root for the Cinderella here. Give me Indiana with the points.
Now, hang on a minute. Am I calculating this correctly that Tommy is going to have an opportunity to give me an Ohio State island here? An Ohio State at home island?
This is a lot of responsibility, guys. And I didn't anticipate being in this position. Give me Ohio State. I just think that, and I like Indiana. It's been fun. I'm actually rooting for them. But at least as far as the betting is concerned, I can't let you have an island, Jacob. I'll take Ohio State.
I'm a winner either way in what I'm rooting for, because I would love to see Indiana knock off Ohio State. Best case scenario, Ohio State falls out of the college football playoff. That would be, but then I don't want that for Will Howard either. So, It's fine. Indiana hadn't played anybody. Get out there and prove it, and then I'll believe it. All right, let's go to KU. This is our game of the week. A lot of people's game of the week. KU continues to get some love from Vegas. Only 2.5-point dogs at home to Colorado. I'll go first on this one. I really would like to pick KU here. I think this is a not good matchup for them necessarily. I do think barn burner. I love the win against BYU. I think Colorado's quite a bit better than BYU. I know the game's at Arrowhead. I'm going to take Colorado here, though. I'm going to lay the 2.5 points. If this got up over 3, I was getting a little nervous about it. But now that it's moved under 3, which is really interesting, right? Because it means people are betting KU here. Maybe some Colorado haters. But I'm going to take the Buffaloes in what should be just a wildly, wildly entertaining game. Paul?
Well, this is going to be a fun game and must-watch TV. Obviously, the 5 of us are going to have our TVs tuned to this. We're going to be watching this game. A couple guys may actually be at that game that are on this Friday football picks. But KU's coming along. They're doing really good. And you know something? They're on their way to being a legend. But you know something? That's a hard path to keep up. To play that well for such a long stretch is a hard thing to do. Colorado's really good, guys. I mean, you've probably got 2 first-round draft picks with Hunter and with Sanders. It's a good football team. And Tommy, we've mentioned over the course of this season that, in my opinion, I don't think you can. It's hard to disagree. Everybody's fast. Colorado may be just a hair faster than most Division I college football teams. They run so well.
Yeah, a lot of speed.
They got a lot of speed at a lot of positions. I'm taking KU.
TJ, where are you at with this one?
Yeah, not to sound like a Chargers fan playing everything off of hypotheticals, but if, KU finds a way to win those games that they blew in the final 2 minutes, they're a team that's probably still ranked, a team that was a preseason ranking. They're starting to play like the team that was ranked number 21 in the country before the season. So if you kind of just ignore the first, 9 weeks of football that KU played, you would think this is going to be college game day is probably at this game would be such a big one. So I'm just going to keep riding the hot hand. Give me KU because the Big 12 just cannot stop beating itself up. So I see the trend happening again this week. Give me the Jayhawks.
Well, look, Vegas is telling you, as with this line being within 3, how good KU is. Talent-wise, KU's, top 4 or 5 in this league for sure, Tommy. The question is, what do you think of Colorado? I mean, I think that's what it is as much as anything. We all agree KU's a talented team that when they play well are very dangerous. It's really more about what do you think about Colorado?
Yeah, I'm a big fan sometimes of just watching the world burn. I love chaos. I love anarchy when it makes sense. Not only do I like Kansas to cover the number, I like Kansas outright. I like them on the money line. In fact, that's going to be a bet that I make this weekend. It's their senior day at Arrowhead, and it's just going to be just make everything insane in the Big 12, maybe even in the CFP if Kansas can play spoiler and beat Colorado. Now, had KU not beaten BYU last week, I'm not sure I would be on this train, but I am. The Jayhawks can still make a bowl game, and so I'm going to ride that. I think that Kansas covers. I think they actually went outright.
Are we deceived at all, Brandon, by a pooch punt from the quarterback bouncing off a dude's helmet? Like, are we giving that too much credit? I think it's worth asking. I don't think we are. I think KU's playing much better. But, it took a little good fortune in Provo to get that win.
Yeah, and oddly enough, I liked the Jayhawks more in Provo last week than I do like them in this spot.
Totally agree.
Against Colorado.
Oh, stop that, Jacob.
Totally agree.
You're agreeing with him because you want an island. Come on now. We see through that.
I didn't even realize I had a potential for one here.
No, the Colorado speed that they have in the wideout core is something that we've seen affect Kansas all year long, as well as Molo Dotson and Kobe Bryant have played throughout their careers. This is still a secondary that's very susceptible to big plays, getting beat over the top, and I think that's Colorado's recipe to come in here and continue. Paul, you keep saying that teams that have something to play for. KU's playing for a bowl game, but Colorado's playing for a CFP spot. Give me the Buffaloes in a game that I will be at on Saturday.
I think the hardest game to pick on our slate this week is Cincinnati at K-State. K-State's an 8.5-point favorite. I have absolutely no idea what to do with this game, so I'm going to let Paul go first and enlighten us on what will happen in Manhattan this weekend.
Well, this isn't the Cincinnati team of about 3 or 4 years ago, is it? It's not even. It doesn't seem to be.
I don't think it's the Cincinnati team of 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Oh, well, that might be as well true, and I got you on that. You know something? You either have faith in K-State, the program as a whole, the coaching staff, as a whole, the players as a starting offense and defense as a whole. You either have confidence in them or you don't. And this is still a good Kansas State football team. We just hope and pray that the Kansas State team that shows up is not the one that went to Provo, Utah and got their rear ends kicked. That's what we hope for. K-State, I think, is really a better football team from top to bottom, probably a more physical football team than Cincinnati. I'm taking Cincinnati.
Wait, you're taking Cincinnati or you're taking K-State?
Yeah, he's taking. It's opposite day for Paul today. Remember, it's he's going against his head and everything.
Oh, he's going against everything. Okay, I got you.
All right, TJ, you believe that the Cats can get it turned around? Nobody's arguing that K-State's not more talented than Cincinnati. Of course they are, but can they start playing well? They haven't now for almost a month.
Yeah, I guess I'll continue on the trend here that Paul and Brandon are talking about of having things to play for. For K-State, at this point, having things to play for is they may be playing for the Pop-Tarts Bowl or the Liberty Bowl. Not a ton of fight left to show, obviously. They're still going to come out and play hard on a senior day and everything. But with the way that they looked last week, I just don't see them turning around and winning by basically double digits against Cincinnati, who is a team that a lot of people thought we're going to be pretty legit in the Big 12 3 or 4 weeks ago, like you said. So give me the Bearcats for the Kelsey brothers in this one.
8.5 points, Tommy. What are you going to do with 8.5 points?
Well, it feels like the vibe, at least around K-State, is better right now than it was on Saturday. I think that's helpful a lot to Kansas State. And, I think that it's very clear that things could go one direction or the other for Kansas State. They're going to make a bowl game, but they could either be in one of the bowls that don't matter, of no consequence, or they could still have a really good showing and ultimately have a premier bowl placement. So I'm going to go that direction. I think that Kansas State bounces back at home. I'm going to take the Wildcats and I'll lay the points.
Brandon, you're next.
Yeah, this Kansas State team is kind of a lot like my golf game. You just never know what's going to show up. Kansas State, when you look, their only win the last month came at home against Kansas, and that very well could have been a loss. The vibes are just bad around here. So what better time for Kansas State to come out and make a statement and then go and put a whooping on Cincinnati at home? It doesn't make sense, but give me the Cats to not a whole lot to play for, and that's why they're going to show up this week.
I'll give you the reason, and I'm going to take K-State, that I think you can feel better about it. We're all focused on that K-State has not played well lately, and they have not. Cincinnati has been terrible lately, 3 straight losses, and this will be their their third game in 4 weeks on the road. That is a brutal. You're rolling in there with a team that has got to get their coaches back. That is not happy with the way things are going, that still, I think, technically on an outside shot could reach a playoff. I think to me, it screams a game K-State should bounce back in. Cincinnati's playing worse than K-State right now. So I'll take the Cats. I don't feel good about it. 8.5 points, but I'll take the Cats at home by 8.5. All right, let's switch over to the NFL. All right, here we go. Chiefs, Panthers. TJ, I believe you're up first on this one. We are taking it at an 11-point line at Carolina, across the country, the early game. Where are you going with this one?
This is a trap game. Let me tell you what. Bryce Young not playing that bad for the Panthers right now. Obviously, they're kind of the laughing stock of the NFL, but they've kind of put some games together in recent history. Granted, they've played some pretty bad teams as well. Double digits on the road is not something that I am particularly comfortable with any team. And so I'm gonna take the Panthers at home, getting 11 points. That's a lot of points.
A lot of points. Okay. Panthers, Tommy, where are you at with this?
I'm going to actually back up what TJ just said. I think this is a lot of points. If it was 10 or under, I'd be a little bit more apt to take the Chiefs as a bounce back on the road. And it's really not anything, I don't think, against the Chiefs. I just think I've seen it time and again where they don't particularly play up to their level of competition, or play down, I guess, in that regard against Carolina. So I think Carolina covers that number. I think the Chiefs win. But I think it's probably going to be a touchdown game, maybe a 10-point game.
Okay. I think Brandon, you're up next. Brandon, where are you at with this one?
Well, three straight weeks in a row, we haven't seen Kansas City's defense get a stop late when they needed it. And this week, it just so happens that the stop late is going to be for a backdoor cover. And so for that reason alone, I'm going to take Carolina. They're going to score late, and they're going to keep it within the 11.
What in the wide world of sports is happening? I'm like laughing that TJ said Bryce Young's been playing well lately. They've won the last 2 games. He had 171 yards and 126 yards, has 2 touchdowns and interception. His completion percentage is low. He's not playing well. He's playing well by his own crap standard. The Chiefs are going to eat his lunch. If Carolina can't run the ball, they're screwed because Bryce Young ain't doing anything on this Chiefs defense. And the Chiefs better run the ball. They get Isaiah Pacheco back. I hate double-digit spreads in the NFL, but if there's ever time for a double-digit spread in the NFL, it's this kind of matchup where it's such a clear deficiency on Carolina's defense. The Chiefs can take the air out. They can run the ball. They can control the clock. They can feast on Bryce Young. I'm taking the Chiefs. Paul, give me that island.
I'm telling you right now, Jacob, you're exactly right. This is one of those games where the Chiefs, they got a message to send, don't they? They didn't like losing. That's the first time they've lost. Last weekend was all season long was their first loss. They don't like losing. Nobody likes losing. And after all, who is still the quarterback? As far as I checked, he's still playing this Sunday. You know, you got Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback in the NFL. The Chiefs will whoop up on Carolina. I'm taking Carolina.
Man, it's going to – Mahomes' form on handing that ball off 35 times is just going to be outstanding. I got a Chiefs and an Ohio State island this week.
No, you don't. I took Ohio State.
Oh, that's right. You bailed me. Yeah, you bailed me out.
That's
right. That's right. Well, I got a Chiefs island against the Panthers. I did not see that coming in the things we were looking at for picks today. Okay, let's continue on. Philadelphia at the Rams. Rams +3 at home. We talked to PJ Glasser yesterday, and this was an interesting one because the Philly defense now, who's looked much better, is about to have their biggest test in a long, long time. Tommy, I believe you're first here. You'll open this one. What do you have with Rams Eagles?
Philly, 100%. I mean, I think that just what they've shown over the last couple of weeks is their firepower. I think that they have flexed over the last couple of weeks and actually been able to perform at their potential. I'm not an overall believer in them, or it's not that I don't trust them long-term, but I do think in this game on the road, I think 3 points is actually kind of low. I think they win by at least a touchdown against the Rams, even on the road. So give me the the Eagles.
Brandon, you agree?
Yeah, Philadelphia has not lost a game this year when A.J. Brown was played. And then if you just look at their defensive form of late, I think they've kept each of their last 7 opponents, with the exception of a Jacksonville scoop and score. That was kind of a fluke. All of them under 18 points. I just like the form that Philadelphia is playing in. A big spot, prime time. A lot of questions still around this team. I think they answered some of those this week. Give me the Eagles.
I don't know why it feels trappy to me, probably as much as anything else in this one. I'm actually going to take the Rams at home. Philadelphia's got to fly across the country. I do need to see Philly's defense. If Philly stops this Rams offense, then I think we all probably need to look out for the Eagles. But this will be a different kind of test. The Rams are healthy. They've got all those crazy weapons on offense. They got Matt Stafford. They're at home. They're also playing for a division championship. Guys, nobody's running away with the NFC West right now. So I think the Rams are plenty motivated to be able to, at least cover the number at home. I wish it was 3.5, but I'll take it at 3. I'm all right taking it at 3. Paul?
Well, nobody's mentioned Saquon Barkley for the Eagles. And
Saquon or Saquon?
Either one of them. Yeah. They're twin brothers, and they're both really good. But with that being said, this is a football team that I think is starting to get stronger as the year wears on. I really like that about this team. This is a team that is capable of putting up some pretty good numbers. And I think that this is a fairly easy pick with even with the 3 points. I think that the Philadelphia Eagles are the team that you don't want to face in the playoffs. I just think that would be the case right now, and it might change. Who knows? But I'm taking the Rams.
I got a feeling TJ is gonna agree with everything. I love Paul's picks today. All right, TJ, where do you have it?
I'm picking the Eagles. They've won however many they have in a row, and it feels like every week they just try to convince us that they aren't going to be contenders and they're going to be pretenders a little bit from what they did early on in the season. But they just keep winning these games. I haven't looked, but I imagine they're probably cover machines as well because their lines are always single-digit, really small stuff. So I'm going to take the Eagles. As much as everybody thinks that Sirianni is not going to be able to keep getting the job done, he keeps getting the job done, and I think he will this week as well.
Yeah, let me be clear. It's not my pick is not a knock on the Eagles. It's a tip of the cap to the Rams. I think the Rams, healthy, are still a good team. So we'll see if they can do it at home. All right, last one. Ravens, Chargers. This one's fascinating. Chargers are getting 3 points at home as well. That same stadium we just talked about, Philadelphia coming to play in across the country. Baltimore's got to do that too. Paul, you can start us here. Did two really good teams. Where do you have it?
Well, I haven't heard a coaching staff hammered this much in the week right after a football game as the Ravens staff has been hammered. Oh, Derrick Henry, where's he been? How come he only had, 10, 12, 13 carries, whatever it was?
It's like the Chiefs playoff game all over again, right?
He should have gotten the ball. That's the staff that has been hammered. Listen, Derrick Henry probably gets 20 carries, and that's going to change the course of this game. Baltimore, come on. Quarterback-wise, defense-wise, this is a better team than the Chargers. 3 points isn't enough points for Baltimore. I think Baltimore wins this game easily and covers easy. I'm taking the Chargers.
It does feel, I mean, bounce back is certainly in the cards there, Tommy. Where do you lean on this?
I'm going to take the Ravens. I think this is a bounce back opportunity for them. It's nothing against the Chargers. I like the Chargers. I like what I saw from them last week overall against Cincinnati. I know they let the Bengals get back into the game, and it became a thriller at the end. And they kind of flexed early on, and they're impressive. But the Ravens, it's going to be a major letdown for them if they lose this game because they have all the talent in the world, especially offensively. And in my mind, from a talent perspective, they're the most likely team, maybe outside of Buffalo, to challenge for the AFC. So if they drop another game, that's a big, big issue, I think, for Baltimore. So I'm going to take the Ravens to back, and I'll lay those points.
I'm taking the home points, guys, and I agree on the bounce back piece of this. But man, the Chargers have a good run defense. And they have Justin Herbert, who is being unlocked. Justin Herbert, with his full cast of characters, is about to play the NFL's worst pass defense. That's what it is for me. I want to take the Ravens in the bounce back for all these reasons. I just think this is a tremendous matchup for the Charger offense, the way it's playing right now. And to give me 3 points at home, I got to take the Chargers here. They're at home. The Ravens have the travel. And on paper, it's a bad matchup for the Ravens. So I'll take the Chargers at home and take the 3. TJ?
This feels like the Ravens have everything to lose and the Chargers have everything to gain from this game, because as Tommy said, the Chiefs and the Bills are kind of taking away the 1-2 spot of the AFC, but the Chargers are still in the hunt for some playoff seeding, which they would kill for at this point with the way that things have gone the past couple of years. As you said, Justin Herbert's been playing pretty well right now, and I think that they could get it done as well. I think we're getting 3 at home on the Chargers side?
3 at home. Yep.
Give me that, absolutely. I just traded Ladd McConkey in a fantasy league, so put him down for 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's maybe a bad decision, Ladd McConkey. But it's not just him, Brandon. It's him and Quentin Johnston's there now, and Josh Palmer's there, and they got a tight end they can use. Like they've got all of a sudden, they got a pass offense that looks pretty good. The Ravens did a better job against Pittsburgh. We give them credit there, but they have been the league's worst pass defense this year. Can they turn that around and beat LA on the road?
Not to mention they have maybe the comeback player of the year in J.K. Dobbins, who has just been a resurgence. So we get a revenge game for him as well. The Harbaugh, we haven't mentioned the Jim and John Harbaugh playing against each other. I really do like the Ravens in this situation. They're on a track meet out in turf, out in SoFi. They're coming a chance to bounce back. Lamar plays pretty well as well on Monday Night Football, but I just really like this Chargers team. At the moment, I like how well they're playing, and you're going to give me home points as well in a big spot for them to make a statement. I like the Chargers. Give me them plus the points.
I do think Lamar performs well as an underdog, if I recall correctly. So that is something to watch there. That game is going to be awesome. I cannot wait for that game. Probably my favorite game of the week in the NFL. Should be just a blast of a game. All right, that's it. That's 6 games. We've all got our picks in. Very interesting. They're difficult. I think it's a hard weekend to bet, but whatever. We make the picks either way. Jad's got the receipts. Fellas, I appreciate it. Tommy, Brandon, TJ have to bounce. It'll be Savage and I the rest of the way. So stay tuned here on KFH on the Odyssey app. We have plenty to get to, including a wild turn in the burglary stories here for Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. We're watching a Netflix series here. This is insane. We're going to get to that when we return on Sports Daily.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
831001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Daily here on KFH. The IHOP hotline, which has been occupied by our football picks, is now back open, and it's introducing IHOP is a new Indiana Jones and the Great Circle themed limited time offer menu featuring fully loaded French toast, new flavor combinations including buried treasure, gemstones of juicy glazed blackberries, raspberries, blueberries, and a drizzle of rich cream cheese icing. That's at IHOP. The IHOP hotline is 869-1240. It's back open for you. You can also leave us your video comments on Facebook, YouTube X, 12 News Connected, all the ways you might watch the program here. A lot of fun picks there, Paul, as we make our way through. It should be a good football weekend. All right. So, Paul, let's talk about this Chiefs story. How up to speed are you and have you been with this just wild and crazy thing going on with the burglaries of Mahomes and Kelsey?
Those kind of football players and basketball.
All right, Paul, we're going to switch you over to that other microphone because I'm having a hard time hearing you. I know the listeners can, so we'll have Paul move over there. So here's the situation with this. We've heard about the burglaries of the homes of Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce while they were away at a game. So what's happened now is the NFL has issued a security alert to teams in the Players Union on Thursday, and this follows the recent burglaries here. The Associated Press reporting that it's across multiple sports, and these athletes in their homes have become, quote, increasingly targeted for burglaries by organized and skilled groups. There have been talks of like a South American organized crime syndicate doing this. You talk about scary stuff and just like what a wild turn. Like this is stuff you see in movies. They're talking about things. They're talking about things like, groundskeepers, surveying the area and fake deliveries and joggers in the neighborhoods and like high level organized stuff. Man, that is frightening, Paul, to think about. Just a wild story. I'm still having we're having a little bit of a technical difficulty on the video stream end of this, but just a wild story. Wanted to get that out for you, but it's certainly something that we're going to watch, and so are these athletes. At what point, and I wondered this yesterday, like if you've got that much worth stealing and you've got that much, like at what level do you hire security? It's a pretty crazy thing to think about, that part of life. But thankfully everybody's okay. Everybody's safe. There was a former Vikings player that was also hit on this. And so we'll watch this, but boy, this is next level stuff. There will be lots of things and series and other things happening with this as we try to figure out how this happens, why it's happening. Do they know? How much do they know about the people that are doing this, and can they go after them? But certainly, that is certainly a turn I did not see coming when it comes to all of this. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to get everything all fired back up for you on the video stream if you're watching there. We'll get a little bit more into the Chiefs matchup on the field, as this story is, kind of an off-the-field story with the Panthers. I'll expand a little bit on what I was talking about in our picks. I love this matchup for the Chiefs. So we'll get into that. We'll get the latest injury notes from the Chiefs as well as we roll through this Friday. Don't go away. It's Albrecht and Savage the rest of the way here on KFH Sports Daily. Coming right back.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Daily. We're all cleaned up, I think, and making our way through it. Paul, we Chiefs Panthers is interesting. I was pretty surprised that I just feel like this is not just is it a great matchup for the Chiefs, but yeah, the motivation is there. I know it's an early game and they can get weird, and I normally do pay attention to that stuff. I just feel like if you're this is an awful matchup for the Panthers to play this Chiefs team. Awful.
Well, of course, every NFL game is going to be a challenge, but it's a matter of
last night. I agree. Last night proves that.
Yeah, last night proves that. And what a game! What a spectacle! I mean, was it snowing a little bit, or what was going on there? It reminds me that the course of football in the NFL is now starting to change. It's going to change, particularly if you're in the upper half of the United States. It's going to be very interesting, unless you're playing in a dome, obviously. But with that being said, Carolina's dangerous. I mean, this is, the last time I checked, Jacob, they pay their players too, don't they? I think they still pay their players, and they've got some good players. I'm just saying that this could be a trap game. But on the other hand, I look at this game and I think to myself, the Kansas City Chiefs, they're big boys. They're champions. They've lost a game. They didn't want to lose, but they lost a game, and they didn't want to have that loss. So, we'll see how they come out. I mean, I can make a case one way or the other on this game. I really can make a case for both directions. Chiefs playing well, Chiefs not playing well. There's a case to be made. I just don't know. We'll have to wait and see the game. It'll be interesting to watch. Is it must-watch TV? Well, with the Panthers, I don't know. Is it? I don't know.
I don't know if you're the Panthers coming in. I don't know what you hang your hat on. And look, the Chiefs will say, "Oh, they've won 2 games in a row, and they've done all these things." And I mean, even Bryce Young he's won these games in a row, and he's back, and he does not look good. He's back, and yeah, they've won 2 games in a row, but Bryce Young doesn't look good yet. Oh. Bryce Young is very limited as a quarterback, and he's about to go up against, while the Chiefs have not been as dominant lately, it's still one of the top pass defenses in football. Mm-hmm. And their wins have come against the Saints and the Giants, and the Giants in overtime, and the Saints by a point. They're coming off of a bye, which is something to pay attention to, I suppose. But man, when I look at this thing on paper, and when I know that the Chiefs just came off of a loss that they're not real thrilled about, and they're looking to start a game quickly. That's been the message from Mahomes all week. They need to start a game the way they're finishing games. When I look at all of that, it feels like a game where the Chiefs are just going to come out and dominate from start to finish, which is the way you have to cover these big double-digit spreads. You can't let teams hang around. You can't let them climb back into it late. But, man, it feels like, to me, one of these games where the Chiefs get out to a fast start, and because they should be able to run the ball throughout this game, I don't really see a way for Carolina to be successful here.
Well, for Carolina, it's going to come down to quarterback play. How good can quarterback play be for Carolina? Because if it's good, then you got a shot. It hasn't been good. Listen, you got a situation right now where Bryce Young, he's one of those guys. He's on the emphasis right now of, do I fall into journeyman quarterback? Do I start floating around from teams and being backups? The time has come for him to start making his own name, making his own way, and leading a football team. Like, we think he's capable. I think he's capable. I don't know that he's not. I haven't decided that yet, but this is the time. This is the time where he's got to step up. Enough of mediocrity. NFL franchises don't want mediocrity at their quarterback position. And I think this game is fully one of those games that it's going to be on one guy, Bryce Young. That's what I think. I think that's the one guy we've got to see how if he performs well and he uses his legs, he uses his arms, he does what he needs to do to get that first down, to keep the chains moving, to get field position, get that field goal, maybe you don't score, but a touchdown, but you get that field goal. You do what you got to do to score, get some points on the board, control the football, keep the ball out of the hands of Patrick Mahomes. I tell you what, Carolina has a chance of winning this football game.
Really? They can run the ball, but the Chiefs have a good run defense too. So I don't know. Rick says he doesn't think Pacheco is going to play this weekend. I think Pacheco is going to play this week. He was a limited participant yesterday. Andy Reid said this week if Pacheco had his choice, he would have played 3 weeks ago. I think Pacheco wants to get out there badly. I think there's a good spot for them to ease him in a little bit. I think you'll see a lot of he and Kareem Hunt. And even if it's more Kareem Hunt than Pacheco, I still like that for the Chiefs in this game. The Panthers do get Jonathan Brooks back. And I don't know if I think he's ready to play. He's been a full participant in practice the last 2 days. And he is a very talented player that they took early in the draft. So, that is something to watch. They'll need to stop him and Chuba Hubbard, who's been good for them. So, I guess you watch there. What's the over-under on this game? 43. Under feels pretty good to me there. So, look, I just the formula in this game, this to me feels like the perfect matchup for what the Chiefs are very good at. And they're motivated and they're angry. And I really like the Chiefs in this game. As much as I hate double-digit favorites in the NFL and almost never bet them, this is one I feel pretty good about, Paul. We've got NFL breaking news, Paul, the Giants have flat released Daniel Jones. Like, he's cut now.
Really?
From the Giants.
Wow.
And we knew he lost his starting job. DeVito was going to start, but man, they're done. They're done with Daniel Jones. What do you make of that?
Well, I did not know that. So you are really literally breaking news on this show. Wait, we all kind of figured that he might be done, that how many more chances?
Well, and let me clarify real quick, because the Giants are saying that Daniel Jones came to them and asked for a release.
Okay.
So that's a little bit different to me.
All right. I got you. Now that makes things kind of, in essence, shine a little better on the light of this subject. Now, let's face it. Are quarterbacks in demand in the NFL? Yes. The answer is yes. Do teams right now even need a quarterback? The answer is yes. You get your full release. How long before he's on a franchise and is on a roster with some NFL team? I think that somebody's going to take a chance on him. I think somebody's going to say we need that quarterback. I'm not sure who it was, because you got like 4 or 5 teams that immediately could use input at the quarterback position. And he's going to end up, am I saying he's going to be a starter next week or the week after? No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying he's going to end up somewhere. He's not done with football. And somebody's going to say we can bring him into our system, give him a shot. Let's see what happens. He's not done with football. But and evidently, I'm kind of figuring, Jacob, that he has kind of calculated that he's going to land somewhere, or he would not ask for his release. If he didn't know what was going on or what the probability of landing somewhere was, I kind of doubt that he would ask for his release. But with that being said, he may help somebody. And how do we know that a change of scenery isn't exactly what the doctors ordered for this situation?
He got screwed because his contract's voided. The Giants made the right decision. I mean, none of that surprises you, I don't think. I just wonder. I mean, he'd be a fine backup quarterback. I mean, to me, I don't know what his contract. I don't know what his contract situation is going to end up being now with this owed money. I don't know if somebody gets to start over, I'd ask you this: like, who would you rather have as backup quarterback, Carson Wentz or Daniel Jones? You know, I feel like Daniel Jones could be a good backup, and I'm not saying he's better than Carson Wentz. I don't know what I think about that, but I think he's going to have. I think his career is not done, and I'll bet you we see him at some point starting games for another team, albeit as a backup, not as, because he'll be forced into the situation. But I do think his career is not over.
Yeah.
And he's had a lot of opportunities, right? Yeah. None of this they're not cutting the cord too early or, any of that kind of stuff. I think he's gotten a fair shake in New York. Certainly they shouldn't have extended him to the big contract. That was one of the more curious extensions that we've seen of the quarterback payments. And, now he'll go on and do something else and the Giants can turn the page. Maybe they'll trade for Dak Prescott.
Give me the timetable. When do you see him on a roster?
Next year.
Oh,
I don't know. Nobody's taking that money. Nobody's taking that money this year. Not unless there was like an emergency situation. Right, nobody's taking on that contract. I don't think. And I don't think you can avoid it either. Because if he plays, he gets owed that money. Nobody's taking that risk. Nobody wants to be on the hook for the rest of that contract, if I understand it correctly. All right, let's take a quick break. We're going to come back. We got a lot to tell you about tonight and this weekend. You got 2 college basketball games tonight. We got all kinds of college football this weekend. We got Chiefs football. We got NFL football. It is a jam-packed weekend across the networks, and we're ready for it. We'll tell you all about it next.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12.
Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW.
12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
All right, that's it for us. Let's take a look here, Paul, because we got a lot to get through tonight. Shocker basketball on KEYN. That's at 8:30. You've got K-State basketball here on KFH. Pregame coverage begins at 6. You got Butler football at 10:30 on KFH tomorrow. If K-State basketball loses, they'll be on 3:30 tomorrow. If they win, they'll be on Sunday at 6 o'clock. You got K-State football here at 5 o'clock tomorrow. Butler basketball on KNSS at 5:45. You got the NFL 6:30 on KNSS. Of course, the Chiefs on KNSS at 11. It's jam-packed. We got you all covered. Wow. For the full cast of characters, I'm Jacob Albrocht. We'll see you Monday.